Welcome to POC Story. Today, I'm introducing Yasmin, and we're going to talk about self pleasure. Welcome, Yasmin.
Hi, it's Jasmine, by the way. I
Jasmine.
guess like different places will pronounce it differently. Yes. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah, sure. And can you introduce yourself?
Yes, so my name is Jasmine. I am a sex positive advocate all the way from Malaysia, and I run a safe space and a sex positive platform on Instagram for young Malaysians, especially to come together to learn, break taboos, and spark conversations on dating, intimacy, pleasure, and sexual health. And I really enjoy talking about these things. So that's what I do. I'm a sex positive advocate.
Okay. And why did you decide to become a sex positivity advocate?
Mm. So basically, a lot of people don't really know what sex positive is about. So I guess I would sort of talk about what is sex positivity. So essentially, sex positivity is the belief that sex and sexuality, if practiced consensually, is healthy and pleasurable. So someone who is sex positive, such as myself, is all about consensual. It's all about talking about consensual sexual activities, sexual experimentation, and sexual pleasure. We're all for that, and there is no shame around it. And it's really important for us to have an open discussions about it as well. And also, we're all about pushing for comprehensive sexuality education as well as safe sex. So basically, in a nutshell, there is no shame, there is no stigma around wanting to explore sexually. And someone, and that's what I am. I love talking about conversations about sex. I'm very passionate about it, especially in a country like Malaysia. I suppose all around the world, there's always some sort of stigma, there's always some sort of taboo when it comes to talking about sex positivity, sex topics, sexual topics in general. But especially in Malaysia, being that it is a Muslim majority state, there's a lot of stigma and taboo in our culture, in Asian culture as well. So that's why I wanted to go into it and talking about sex positivity topics, because not many people talk about it. There's a lot of shame, there's a lot of misconception of what sex education is. A lot of people think that when it comes to sex education, it's about teaching our kids how to have sex. And that is beyond not about it at all. We can talk about that, but of course, it's like different ages. You talk about different things. Like kids who are very, very young, you talk about our body parts, labeling it correctly. You know, we don't call our breasts, I don't know, fun bags, for example. We call it as breasts. We call our vulva as vulva. We don't call it as, different names. So yeah, and something that's very important to know is that if you are someone who is sex positive, you don't have to be sexually active in any way. You cannot have any sexual experience, but still be able to, hey, I want to talk about sex topics because it's important and it's normal and natural.
Is it like when you say to people you're a sex positive advocate in Malaysia, like how do you perceive it? Like, is it is there like many people who are doing this, or is it something that you have to hide yourself a bit, or?
That's a good question. So before I actually do, so I'm open about it. I do tell people that I'm a sex positive advocate, and also my platform, which is called Oh Hey Miss King on Instagram. Also, I'm very frank about like I am a sex positive advocate. This is a sex positive platform, so I'm really obvious with that. But in order for me to be open about it, because a lot of people will ask me, how can you be open? Like, are you not ashamed, afraid? I was very open with my family first. So I told my parents, I told my sibling, my sister, what I was doing, really make them truly, truly understand what is it I'm doing. And whatever successes I have, if people come up to me and tell me, oh my God, you helped me, or if I get invited to do panel discussion or moderating or something like that, I would always tell them, because this is what it is. So a lot of people don't really understand what is sex positive advocate. They get scared by the word sex. So I sometimes will then have to call myself a sex educator, which is also what I am. As well. So just depending on who I'm talking to, I will call myself sex positive advocate or sex educator so that people are more aware what it is. Or I will call myself a positive sexuality advocate because then it's like not sex, it's like sexuality and it's more broad. Just different words, but sex positive advocate is for short. Yeah, or sex educator.
And so what do you think are the taboos that making it difficult like to talk about sex and having sex education in Malaysia?
Yeah, so definitely like in a country like Malaysia where religion triumphs, religion is like a huge thing in Malaysia. And so because of religion, there's a lot of taboo around sex, being that sex should only be practiced with married people. So, and then when it is practiced amongst married people, it's something private. You cannot talk about it. It's only between these two people. And because of that, also casual sex is demonized, right? You cannot talk about casual sex, cannot talk about sex in general. Even if you're not doing any sexual activities, it's just something that's really taboo. Buying condoms is a huge thing. I remember one of my partners, he was very, very scared of buying condoms because he feels that there's a lot of shame around buying condoms. So, it's very frustrating because we want to exercise safe sex, but also if there is so much shame and fear around buying condoms, how can we do that? So yeah, just some of the taboos, buying condoms and just openly talking about it. Okay. And the misconception about sex education.
Okay. And so you're doing workshops mainly with teenagers or with everyone, or do you have a specific target?
The workshops that I do, I've done workshops with youths before. Nowadays, it's more towards young people, especially people within the ages of, I don't know, like 20 to 35, around there, young adults. And because a lot of my workshops are primarily, I'm particularly interested in talking about pleasure and talking about shame around pleasure, self-pleasure especially, or exploring with each other, and talking about pornography as the center of, letting women know that our bodies, there's something wrong with our bodies because we should be able to come as fast as the men in the porn, so all about that, kind of breaking down the boundaries, the misconceptions. Something that we don't understand is that mainstream porn is catered towards the male sexual pleasure. So the male pleasure. So when you, understanding that our bodies are very different, vulva owners as well as penis owners, they have different lengths when it comes to having an orgasm, right? So like penis owners, I think on average, study shows that like 8 minutes between getting aroused and having an orgasm, versus vulva owners, it's about 20 minutes from getting aroused to having an orgasm. And when you, that's why I always tell people is that do not look at porn, especially mainstream porn, because it is catered towards the male sexual pleasure. And B, let's change the narrative of sex to base it on the female sexual pleasure or the vulva owner sexual pleasure. And then you will see 20 minutes is not such a long time. 8 minutes is a short time, 20 minutes, there's so many things that you can do. And it's not just about penetration. There's a lot of, we can do foreplay, we can do cuddling, we can do sexting, so many different things. And once you change that narrative, and then you'd feel like, oh, I actually don't take a long time to come. This is just a normal time frame. For us, it's just the porn kind of ruins that for a lot of people, and a lot of, cis women as well. We feel like there's something wrong with me, but actually no, it's normal.
Okay. And so how would you define like self-pleasure?
Self-pleasure is basically doing anything that makes you feel happy and makes you feel content. So self-pleasure can be eating something that you really like eating your favorite cake, or it could be traveling for your own pleasure, not for everybody else, but you just really do it because it gives you satisfaction in life. also in the sexual term, self-pleasure means masturbating. And however that looks like, it's up to you. You could masturbate with your fingers, or you can masturbate with a toy, or with a pillow, or just having your thighs kind of rubbing together. Just different ways of pleasuring yourself that you do onto yourself.
So have you ever done like a workshop about self-pleasure, for example?
Workshop about self-pleasure, yes, but it's not particularly on self-pleasure. It is one of the topics within my workshop. So the workshop, for example, this one workshop, about vulva pleasure. One of it is on how to self-pleasure and how to sort of look into trauma, or look into, all these different things. So that's one of the topics that I sort of touch on. I'm looking at heterosexual people, for example, man and women. Man, it's okay if you have sex with different people. It's okay if you sort of masturbate, because this is a manly thing to do. Whereas for girls and for women, we've been taught that it's not okay. It's dirty. You're slutty if you do that. You're not a clean girl or whatever. So there's a lot of shame around it. And not to say that boys don't hear that as well. Like, I know that a lot of my cis men friends, they would also say, there is also shame around, orgasm as well. Yeah. And I totally recognize that. So yeah, shame and feeling dirty, that you shouldn't touch there, that that if you will not be a virgin anymore. So virginity is such a huge thing in Malaysia as well. You're not a virgin if you touch yourself. You're not a virgin if you wear a tampon. So that's why a lot of Asian cultures, we don't use tampons. We use pads. Even when I was younger, I remember I was 19 and I found out that my friends from the UK, they wore tampons ever since they started their period. And that just blew my mind, because my mom has always told me, do not wear tampons because you're just going to stretch everything there. But obviously that's not true. So yeah, all this shame, all this stigma, all this, when we were growing up, we were told that everything is, this masturbation is bad, masturbation is wrong, masturbation should only be for men, pleasure should only be for men. So when you grew up with all this idea as an adult now, it's really hard for you to be able to fully enjoy pleasure, right? So that's why there's a lot of, I think for a lot of us, there should be unlearning. It's unlearning all these things, knowing that no, we can have pleasure as women, we can feel pleasure as well, that there is nothing wrong, that it's not dirty, it's not wrong to touch ourselves. And yes, sex education is very important. For example, for the longest time, I didn't know that for women, for vulva owners, we have an organ that is solely made for pleasure, which is the clitoris. And I didn't know that. And the clitoris has a whole body. It's not just the head of the clitoris. What we can see, it's only the head, but we have a whole body. And the whole sole purpose is for pleasure. I was amazed. And the fact that the clitoris can be erected, just like the penis, it can also erect. That's something really, really cool. So just unlearning everything that you've been taught, listening to. So I personally, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, kind of helping me to unlearn everything. So that sort of helped. Having conversations like you and I are having, open conversations about these things, enables us to fully sort of accept that, okay, there's nothing wrong with me if I want to feel this way. And yeah, it's just a lot of unlearning, a lot of talking, a lot of self-learning as well within ourselves.
How do you think we can be more comfortable with self-pleasure? What kind of tips could you give, for example?
I would say, first of all, is be kind to yourself. Be very don't be hard on yourself, because a lot of times when it comes to self-pleasure, because of all this stigma and all these taboos that we grew up with, there's a lot of stress and shame around pleasure, right? So, and then when we do self-pleasure, you get really, really stressed out when you cannot orgasm, because you're just I've already unlearned everything, blah 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 blah, I'm trying to do this, but still I can't have pleasure. And so just be really kind to yourself and say I'm not going to focus. Okay, so here's the thing, do not focus first of all on orgasm. because that will come later. Focus on exploring your body first. Literally looking in front of the mirror and saying like, okay, well, this is my breast, this is my hips, this is my butt. How does my vulva looks like? Taking a mirror and sort of looking at yourself and not being afraid, and just sort of like, wow, this is how it looks like. Right. And then after you sort of see how it looks like and explore, that's when you start touching. So touching yourself, and really be very specific. When you touch yourself, be specific. Okay, if I were to touch my nipples, in what way can I touch it that makes me feel good? If I pinch it, does that feel good? Okay, if I pinch it, how do I pinch it? Do I just like pull it? Do I twist it around? So being very mindful with your touches. If I were to touch my clit, do I like 2 fingers? Is it 1 finger? Is it the whole palm? Do I like circular motion? Do I like up and down? Just be really mindful about everything that you do. And if you feel that there is still a lot of hesitation, a lot of, but I just cannot do this, and there's a lot of maybe trauma, childhood trauma, like whatever it is, and really then acknowledging where in your body is that trauma, where in your body do you feel that shame, where in your body do you feel all these things, and really writing it down, journaling it and putting it down. So I love journaling, so like mindful journaling and mindful masturbation or whatever have you, exploring and then connecting it back. Why do I feel this way? And really sitting with it. And if you still feel like it's very tough for you to really explore, then after you do all of this, then that's where therapy comes in, because sometimes we just need a bit of professional help to really make us understand what's going on if we can't do it ourselves.
Is there anything else you would like to say about self-pleasure?
Self-pleasure. I feel like the best thing I've tried thus far is using toys. I find toys are really fun to use, especially when when there's a lot of fear or discomfort around touching our genitals directly. So that's where toys sort of come in, and you can really play with sensation and different vibration. There are different types of toys for different bodies as well. So that's something that I really find interesting. And also about self-pleasure, and also about sex, is that it's really important to know that when it comes to vulva owners, not everybody can orgasm through penetration alone. That actually about 80% of vulva owners can orgasm through clitoral stimulation. So what you see in porn about all this women having a mind-blowing orgasm when they get penetrated, that is not the case. So that's something that's very, very important. So if you have sex, penetrative sex, penis and vagina sex, and if you don't have an orgasm, don't worry, because not everybody can have that orgasm. So just knowing that as well, and incorporating clitoral stimulation while you have sex. So just pleasuring yourself will be nice, and no shame in however you pleasure yourself. That's like your own secret. No shame about that as well.